Namaskar. Uh, Today I would like to talk about this issue on which Karan Thapar has also written an editorial in the Hindustan Times. The title is Process as Punishment and Deceptive Closures. He's talking of the 12 who were acquitted recently in the Bombay local train blasts, uh, which occurred in 2006. So I will just read what he says. One of the para says, 12 fellow citizens with the same right to justice and fair play as you and I have spent 19 years in jail, accused, and then initially convicted of a crime they did not do. They were punished when they were innocent. So 12 people, all of them Muslims, have spent 19 years in jail because they were accused of having caused the blasts in the Mumbai local trains, which killed about, let me get the correct number, 189 people. And this happened on 7th of November 2006 in the Western Suburban Railway, and 12 people, as I mentioned, were apprehended, and all of them have now been acquitted after 19 years. What does the court say? A special bench of Justice Anil Kilor and Shyam Chandok observed that the prosecution utterly failed to prove their case. Their convictions were quashed and set aside. More embarrassingly for the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorism Squad, the court was scathing about the lapses in the investigation, noting creating a false appearance of having solved a case by presenting that the accused have been brought to justice gives a misleading sense of resolution. Uh, and there's one case, one man who was arrested when his daughter was 6 months old. Now, when he's released, she's studying in college. So one can imagine the loss that these 12 people have faced. Uh, but what is important is that this is not the first time it is happening. In our country, this has now become a trend. Whenever there is a bomb blast, which were initially called bomb blasts or serial bomb blasts, if there were more than one. But after the attack in United States on 2001, uh, when they started calling it uh, terror attacks, then we also started calling them uh, acts of terrorism. So whenever these so-called terror attacks take place, usually in our country, what happens is some Muslims are arrested. They are shown as accused. They are arrested, and and then they are sent to jail. They face a long trial, and at the end of most of these cases, we see that they are acquitted. So I will today present before you a small list of such cases. Muhammad Amir Khan, uh, a resident of Delhi, was arrested in 1998 at the age of 18 and falsely implicated in 19 bomb blast cases across Delhi and neighboring states such as Uttar Pradesh and Haryana. At the time of his arrest, Amir was a college student with no criminal background. Over the course of 14 years in Tihar jail, he fought a long legal battle as the prosecution accused him under various sections of IPC, Arms Act and Explosives Act, alleging his involvement in terror related activities. Between 2008 and 12, courts across jurisdiction acquitted him in 17 of the 19 cases, citing fabricated evidence, coerced confessions, and lack of material proof. Judges noted serious lapses in investigation and failure to link him to the incident. And is finally he is released in 2012. Uh, you know, after 14 years. But what does he do now? He was in college, so he lost the chance to get educated, and has to now uh, start afresh. So this is one of the cases, and then you have many others. You have the yeah, and one important thing is that whenever these youth are released, there is no apology given by anybody for having forced them to spend many years in jail. Neither any compensation is given. There is a case from Surat in 2001 when 127 Muslim men, can you believe it? 127 Muslim men arrested when they were participating in a seminar on education. They were called as members of Students Islamic Movement of India, which is SIMI, and this organization was banned under UAPA, which means it was illegal, and therefore they were arrested because they were members of this organization. Among the arrested was a professor, Muhammad Abdul Hai, and they spent 5 years in jail and then a 20-year ordeal, which means the court case, and five of them died in the process. I'm sorry, they just not spent uh, 5 years, but they spent 14 months in jail initially, and some of them got bail, uh, but they lost their job opportunities. Their lives were disrupted, and five of them died. Finally, when they have been acquitted, 122 of them, uh, were there, were alive, and it took a long time for them also. 20 years. 2001 arrested, and final acquittal takes place in 2021. Uh, but of course, they were lucky that they did not have to spend a long time in jail. But nevertheless, their lives were disrupted, careers destroyed, and they had to live with the stigma of being called terrorists. Bhusawal Tada case in May 94, 11 Muslim men from Jalgaon arrested by police claiming that they plotted Babri atrocity revenge bombings. They were charged under Tada with sedition and conspiracy. The men spent 4 months in jail before they got bail, and then it took 25 years for their trial. And finally, in 2019, a Tada court in Nasik acquitted all of them. But as you can see, 25 years is a long time, and I'm sure they too would have faced difficulties in their lives. I mean, the biggest one is that you have to live with the stigma. You have to live with the stigma of being an accused in a terror case. Then there was an attack on the Rampur CRPF camp in Uttar Pradesh in 2008, in which seven Jawans were killed. This happened on the eve of the New Year's, and two Muslims, Muhammad Kausar and Gulab Khan, were arrested in 2008, and they were convicted at a trial, imprisoned for 11 years, But in 2019, a local court acquitted Kausar and Khan for want of evidence. Gulbarga train blast case happened in 1993. Bomb on five Bangalore-bound trains killed two and injured eight. Three youth from Gulbarga. Nisaruddin Ahmad, at that time 20, his brother Zahiruddin Ahmad, and a third man were convicted of the blast based on confessions and jailed. They spent 23 years in prison. In 2016, the Supreme Court overturned their convictions. Uh, but again, as you can see, they spent 23 years in jail. Uh, then you have Ahmedabad tiffin bomb case in 2002. Six bombs hidden in tiffin boxes exploded on Ahmedabad city buses. Police charged Habib Hawa, 27, and Hanif uh, Paketwala, then 30, with attacks and invoked quota. Hawa and Paketwala spent 13 years in prison, being convicted as trial and being convicted at trial, and they were given life imprisonment by Gujarat High Court. On 2, 2 February 2017, the Supreme Court acquitted both as innocent, and Supreme Court noted lack of evidence and dropped all charges. So again, as you can see that they had to live with the tag of terrorist for 13 years. Uh, then you have 2005 Delhi serial blast. Seven bombs in Delhi killed 67 people. Police charged Mohammad Hussain Fazili, who was actually a shawl weaver from Kashmir, and Mohammad Rafiq Shah, a student of 21 years, for planting bombs. They spent 12 years in Tihar jail fighting the case. Finally, in 2017, a Delhi court acquitted both, dropping all charges, including UAPA. The judges found no proof that they had any role. Can you believe? Judge after judge saying that there is no evidence, and still, these youth are spending 10, 20, sometimes more than 20 years in jail. Akshardham temple blast case, 2002. Two temples in Gujarat were bombed, killing 33 people. Police arrested six Muslim men and blamed them on custody churned confessions. The men spent 11 years in jail, often in solitary confinement, and in 2014, the Supreme Court acquitted all six, holding that the investigation agency had indulged in a serious attempt to fabricate a case and frame them. Uh, then there is Malegaon blast case in 2006. Um, Two bombs exploded in Malegaon. Initially, police blamed Islamic groups, arresting nine Muslims. They spent 10 years in jail fighting UAPA charges. In 2016, a special court in Malegaon acquitted all nine of them. Then we have the UP Huji case in 2007. UP's STF charged five Muslims, young men from Moradabad, with ties to banned Harkatul Jihad-e-Islami, alleging they hailed from Pakistan training camps. They were jailed for 9 years in October 2015 and again in 16. A UP court acquitted all five, first of Huji conspiracy and then on lesser slogan charges. Again, the court noted lack of evidence and false framing. Then Hyderabad Makkah Masjid case in 2007, bomb attacks at Makkah Masjid killed nine. Police initially arrested four Muslims: Shoaib Jagirdar, Abdul Naeem, Muhammad Imran Khan, Sayyid Imran. They spent 7 years in Telangana's Chanchalguda jail. In 2014, the Hyderabad Sessions Court acquitted all four, finding no evidence to convict. Conspiracy case. After the Mecca Masjid case, police arrested eight more men alleging they conspired to kill officers in retaliation. Two of them, Riaz Khan and Abdul Saeed, were held from 2010. On May 2017, additional session court acquitted all of them. Uh, Hubli Simi case in June 2008, Karnataka CID arrested 13 youth, all alleged Simi members at Hubli Dharwar. They were charged with UAPA. On 4 June 2015, a sessions court acquitted 7 of the 13 accused. Now, accused included one Swami Asimanand, who was found to be involved in a number of other cases for which initially Muslim youth were arrested. And it is interesting that among the among the 13, the 7 who were acquitted were all Muslims, and again there was lack of proof against them. So, can you believe this? What is happening in our country? In case after case, Muslim youth are arrested. They spend, you know, decades, 1 decade, 2 decade, sometime more than that in jail, and then some lower court convicts them, and finally, some higher court says that there is no evidence against them. So we fail to understand how are these people convicted in the first place if there are no evidence. I have I have served on the uh, Citizens Committee for defense of Sayyid Abdul Rahman Gilani, who was acquitted in the Parliament attack case. And again, here also, he was given, uh, a punishment uh, by hanging, by death. I mean, a death penalty uh, by a lower court. But when he went to high court, the high court said there's not an iota of evidence against him, and finally he got discharged from, acquitted from Supreme Court also. But by that time, he was a lecturer in a Delhi college. His career was destroyed. Nobody was willing to give him a house in Delhi on rent. The schools where his children were studying, they expelled his children. Nobody was willing to sell him a car when he came out of the jail acquitted. Whenever he would board a plane, people would get terrified even after he was acquitted. So essentially, the lives of these Muslim youth who are accused of being involved in terrorist attacks and their families are devastated. They have to pay a heavy price. All of them are innocent. So the question is why did they have to spend so many years in jail? What is the society or the government going to offer as compensation for having destroyed their lives? So Karan Thapar, says uh, in a very apologetic manner that he says, I'm going to propose something and maybe people will not agree with it, but I will anyway propose. And he says, and I support this, we need to ensure they can live their remaining years in comfort and without financial strain, because most of them lose their jobs or their businesses are destroyed. We therefore need to compensate them for what they have been through. Not that it can ever be sufficient, but we need to make that gesture and thus give them a chance to lead a new and happier life because they are innocent. They have been proved innocent by the court. We need to help them turn the page and open a new chapter. But will we? This is as much a test of ourselves as our values as it is of our commitment to and concern for our fellow citizens who have been horribly treated. If we are a united society, one nation, then we must act. Not to do so would fracture us. So this weekend, the face looking into the mirror is collectively ours, and as yet, I'm not sure the reflection will be pleasing or reassuring. We need to make certain it is. So, Karan Thapar has raised a very important point, because in none of these cases where these people have been acquitted, the court has ordered any compensation, or the government has come forward on its own to offer any compensation. And more importantly, in none of these cases, any policemen have been held guilty of framing false charges. So we cannot just go on turning a blind eye to such cases, saying that if we do anything against the police, the morale of the police will be affected. We cannot allow police to act in such high-handed manner and destroy the lives of people. The system has to be accountable. After all, in the past, some policemen have been punished for engaging for carrying out fake encounters. So, if policemen can be punished for doing false encounters, why should they not be punished for for filing false cases where there are no evidence, as the judges have said in case after case, and they should be made responsible for destroying the lives of many youth. Thank you.